Houston, guys. We'll talk about Arizona and TCU as soon as the game is finally over. But I want to start with Houston here in this part of the conversation because they went out and they punked Illinois. They absolutely punked them. Houston, Sweeney, they're missing their top two scorers. It doesn't matter. It feels like no matter what happens, no matter how many people get injured, they have another 6'5" grinder, absolute junkyard dog ready to come in and do all of the same things that the 18-point per game score they just lost was doing before that.
Look, I mean, Kelvin deserves all the credit in the world. I mean, I'll push back on your punked description, given that game was really, really close for like 35 minutes. But I mean, look, they deserve all the credit because that team just has guys who continue to step up. They have guys who are so bought into their roles. I mean, again, you hear that kind of talk all year, but you can't watch a team and see it more than you see it with Houston. Just like an unbelievable trust and an unbelievable buy-in in what they do. And it mattered today because, look, I mean, Illinois is a talented basketball team. They've got one of the best big men in the country, and they just schemed Kofi out of it in the first half and ran Frazier off the line, ran Plummer off the line, and played a really, really complete basketball game. And their guards, their three guards with Edwards, Shed, and Moore had tremendous games. And it was enough to carry the day for Houston to advance to the Sweet 16.
It's amazing to me watching Houston, how difficult they make everything.
Oh,
like everything looks like it. You cut through the lane, you're getting chucked. You try to swing the ball, they got a hand out in the passing lane. And it was a terrible matchup for Illinois because Illinois thrives in their own chaos. And what I mean by that is really the only solid option they have on that team is Kofi Cockburn. After that, it was like they would sometimes make a great play and the ball would get loose and you hope that everybody gets in a scramble and then they end up with Alfonso Plummer shooting a three or Andre Curbelo getting in the lane and making some behind the back pass that very well may end up in the seventh row, or it very well may end up in a perfect spot in the corner for a dagger three. They rely on their own chaos. That's why Houston beat the crap out of them. And I would say it got close for a little while. It didn't feel close watching it. And I agree with you, Sway. It just felt like they were just a step ahead of everything.
Illinois was just like, they were just hanging on for dear life. I mean, they really were. And they're right. So good. I mean, again, I thought the freshmen for Illinois, Melendez and Goody, were tremendous. I mean, making
Goody was good.
That dang technical on Melendez was a miscarriage of justice. It was awful, and it swung that game because that's a breakaway dunk to get at the floor to keep you believing, and you get a technical when literally if he had gotten off the rim any earlier, he would have fallen Paul George to his leg. I mean, it was preposterous, that call. Yeah. But again, at the end of the day, Houston was the tougher basketball team, the more physical basketball team. They punked DeMonte Williams, a fifth-year senior who is regarded as one of the best defensive players in the Big Ten. Punked him all day. And at the end of the day, they're the deserving team to advance. I will say this. Illinois got hosed 2 years in a row seeding-wise. Last year, they're their number one seed. They draw a top 10 Ken Pom team in Loyola Chicago in the second round. This year, they're a number 4 seed. They draw the number 2 Ken Pom team in the country, Houston, in the second round. Again, brutal. 2 years in a row, they got by far the best team based on quality metrics they could possibly play in their second round matchup. So before everyone starts doing the Brad Underwood's, can't win in March, whatever. Let's
just
put. That's not fair.
Yeah.
That's
so let's talk about that because we're going to have to talk about this Arizona TCU game in 1 second. I do want us to respond to that. Part of the reason why Houston was a 5 seed is because they lost their top 2 scorers. And so everyone, when you look at it and you say, okay, they have these great computer numbers, but a lot of that is a result of what happened when they won some games when they were completely healthy, blah, 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 blah. They didn't do anything all that impressive in a conference play. They got beat by Memphis twice in AAC play, I believe. No one else in the American was any good. So maybe these numbers are just a fluke because they were both sort of I get why Houston was seated where they were seated.
No, I get it too. Same thing with Chicago.
Yeah, but at some point, we have to recognize that, okay, Houston, that was unfair to do to Illinois, but also at the same time, at some point
everybody's playing somebody's tough.
Yeah, you can't have if you're in the second round of the NCAA tournament, you are a very good basketball team. Whether you're a top 5 team on KenPom or a top 35 team on KenPom, right? Are there people complaining about they had to say, "Oh yeah, you look how lucky we were to get Providence to draw Providence in the first round of the tournament"? Providence is a sub 40 team on KenPom. So look
how lucky we are to play St. Peter's in the second round.
Yeah, like I get it. I trust me. I understand what you're saying, and I'm not. I don't want this to sound like I'm saying you're an idiot, because you're right. It was a rough draw for them. I think that the committee should when they do this. The biggest issue we always have every year is where people get seated. But at the end of the day, like, you got to lace them up and go win a basketball game. And they were not able to go out and win that basketball game. All the credit goes to Houston. All the credit goes to Kelvin Sampson. Culture, man. We talk about culture. That he has it. He's built it. He's developed it.